Last time we talked about social justice and where it comes from. Today we're talking about DEI. If you haven't seen that video, go ahead and take a look back down there, wherever it might be. We'll try to put it someplace easy for you to find. Check that one out first and come on back. You're going to love it. Hello and welcome to the second episode in a two-part series on social justice and DEI. Last time we talked about social justice, as I said in the intro. Go ahead and check that out first if you haven't yet, or you can watch this one. Either way, whatever you want. I'm glad you're here. Please comment, like, subscribe, or hate and comment. Whatever you want to do. We've had some really entertaining haters as well, so please try to keep it civil as much as possible. But please, let's keep the conversation going. I've been responding in the comments as much as possible, and I intend to do so as much as I can. The explosive growth of this channel, even within a week or so, is amazing, and I want to thank each and every one of you who have taken part. I'm genuinely and truly grateful, and I hope you're having a good time. I'll try to make it as entertaining and educational as possible. All right, so last time we talked about social justice and the Nicomachean ethics of Aristotle. We're still going to be talking about the Nicomachean ethics of Aristotle, but we're going to be focusing on the other kind of justice that we didn't talk about last time. Last time we talked about rectificatory or corrective justice. This time we're talking about distributive justice, which is about making sure everybody gets the goodies who's supposed to have the goodies, right? And I think the connection here to DEI is fairly obvious, but we're going to make it a little tighter anyway. For Aristotle, distributive justice is about making sure that person A has the goods or wealth or money or whatever it might be that he or she is entitled to. Aristotle was a famous sexist, one of the things that I think one can justifiably criticize him for. But I like he or she. That really is inclusive. Two genders, right? Anyway, Aristotle is about making sure that every person has what he or she has earned. And this is principally merit-based. There are other considerations, but they're minor. It's merit-based, it's based on effort, it's based on production. I mean, it's not that much different from the way we would look at it. So Aristotle's about making sure that person A gets what person A deserves. That's it. What did you do? What did you make? What did you create? What good did you bring? Okay, good. Then you have this and this and this. So conversely, when we get to DEI, it kind of gets flipped. How does it get flipped? Well, it gets flipped in the second work of the same fellow we talked about last time, John Rawls. 1971, we talked about his work, A Theory of Justice. Today we're talking about his 1985 essay, which subsequently became a book called Justice as Fairness. And that should ring a bell. In A Theory of Justice, as we talked about last time, Rawls made the first fairly halting moves toward going from an individual model toward a collective model when it comes to justice. In Justice as Fairness, he essentially codifies this and makes it official. Yes, it's about outcomes. In Justice as Fairness, he points out that, well, arguments you've heard. This comes from John Rawls. You didn't know where it came from? It came from John Rawls. Justice as Fairness, 1985, subsequently published as a book under the same name. It's just expanding on the essay. That if you start out, essentially life is a race. If you start out back here, you deserve a leg up. So we get DEI. Okay, well, diversity. Well, wait a minute. Isn't it not diverse only to pick people based on how they look or what the background of their group may be? If it were done on an individual basis, you might be able to make even an Aristotelian case for it, but that isn't generally done. You're a member of this group. Oh, well, you get this advantage. You're a member of that group. Oh, well, sorry, you got to... I'm not going to say back of the bus. I just did, didn't I? Anyway, you need to wait for the other people, give them a leg up. So that's diversity. So it's diverse to choose people based on the group they belong to. Okay. What about inclusion? Well, inclusion, same thing. It's inclusive to exclude people who are from advantaged groups. Well, what about some poor kid from Appalachia and one of the relatively wealthy upper middle class kids I used to teach at Morehouse College, which is actually a fantastic, great school. I love teaching there, favorite place ever. Anyway, brilliant kids, loved it. Anyway, but I taught some people at other places who didn't look like most of the people at Morehouse College, who were far less socially and economically advantaged. But, when you're going by membership in a group, none of that matters. So that's considered inclusive. What about equitable? Well, equitable is, you're a member of this group, and this whole group started out back here, and this whole group started out up here, and this group might include that kid from Appalachia, but he's part of the group that started way up here. Well, we got to fix that. Make sure everybody ends up the same. And actually, maybe we got to do better than making sure they end up the same, because, this one over here, there was some bad stuff he did. This is where rectificatory justice bleeds in too. This group over here did some bad stuff to this group, so no, it's time for this group to be able to move ahead. So you end up going from the front to the back, only because of how you look, or where you were born, or where you come from. And that's not justice, as Trump has correctly recognized, and I think quite rightly corrected. And that brings us to the end of this second in a two-part series, my first mini-series, yay, on social justice and DEI. Hope you enjoyed it and found it informative, maybe entertaining. And please comment, like, share, and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you again soon on The 5-Minute Philosopher.